And like we always say, we have to be patriotic citizens. But how many of you even know how to sing the national anthem? Or even recite the pledge? Well, I don't know if you do, but guess what? Today we are celebrating the man who actually gave us our freedom. His name is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and he is the very first president of the Republic of Ghana. Today is his birthday, hence we need to talk about him. And none other than the CPP are the best people to talk about this honorable man. Now, people feel that he has done so much that no other leader has been able to achieve. He took us out of the hands of slavery and he made us independent. Now, Ghana was the very first country to gain its independence. But where are we today? Have we gotten leaders who have taken us away, or they've taken us back into slavery? Today, I'm speaking to the chairperson and the leader of CPP, and she will tell us more about Nkrumah's dreams, what Nkrumah did, and where we are today. Can we ever fix it? Well, it is a question for the gods. But hopefully, very beautiful, and I'll say she's beautiful. You should see her. She looks so young. I get excited when I see women achieving so much. And of course, the beautiful woman right here with me, who is a leader and the chairperson of CPP, Nana Akosua Frempomaa. Good morning, madam.
Wonderful. It's nice to be here. And indeed, it's a good morning and a wonderful day to every Ghanaian and everyone out there that's watching us. And I'm excited. I'm very excited because today marks the 113th birthday of our father, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And most excited because after everything that has happened, for those of us who saw the coup and we saw the vilification and everything that happened, at least we sit here today as a holiday. Even though some portion of the holiday has been taken out, we still have the chance, and we know that, inshallah, by the grace of God, the actual, all the things due him, everything, so that the school children, everyone in the schools would know who Osajifo is. And the reason simply is not necessary to glorify the dead, but to ignite the spirit, the good spirits of a living person. When people live and they do the best, you hand that spirit over to the next generation now, so that it continues. Now, so today is a wonderful day. It's a
wonderful day. And, you know, when you were talking about who he is, people have heard who he is in school. People have heard who he is on TV, on radio, but probably they haven't heard it from the horse's own mouth. The leader of CPP, she will be the best person to describe who Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was when he was alive. Tell us a bit about him.
At least when he was alive, let me say this, by the time they overthrew him, I was young. Even though I saw a little, because I saw the what do you call, the young pioneers in the school system. We all had the scarves and things. All I can say to Ghanaians watching us today, so much has been said. If you look at what it is, the number one thing that I believe we should all remind ourselves and remember Osajifo, in addition to all the things he did, is his belief system. What is it that made him do so much within a short time, focus, and was able to dedicate his life to the cause of the African, to the Ghanaian, to the point where everything, today as we sit here, nothing that we have, we don't have nothing to say that this is anything that he did that was bad. If we enumerate the things that he did, from the 430-something factories, industries,
to the buildings
that were built within a span of less than 7 years. Indeed, most of the activity, the things that happened in 3 years. One would wonder, how does one achieve such feat?
Even the number of estates. Talk about the estates at Osu, talk about, you know, some of the SIC estates, all of that he
everything from Legon to the Ghana Commercial Bank, to everything that has collapsed, including, you see, the thing that marvels at all of us, that is why Osagyefo, no matter what anybody wants to do to cut him to size, will not happen. It's because the very things that he did were based on a vision. And that's why I said a belief system. The belief was that the African was capable. You see, that is that simple belief that we are capable of governing ourselves. That we didn't have to be trained or wait for the right time. The other group wanted us to do it gradually because they believed that the Ghanaian needed to, we needed to be handed over, trained. But then that is our country that was invaded. We were invaded. The colonial masters invaded us. I mean, I don't even want to use the word master. The colonial people invaded us. So we knew exactly what to do. And he said, let's manage. Even if you have to mismanage, let's mismanage our own affairs. Because it is better for us to have that freedom than to serve, than servitude in tranquility. In other words, to become a slave or work just so that you have a peace of mind, and yet you won't have the ability to be able to live to your fullest. It's not the best for anybody. And that is for me. If you ask me, amongst all the things that he did, it is the belief system that we need to capture, because it was that made him do that. You see, when you look at Akosua, people talk about just the Akosua light. Yeah. It's not just the Akosua dam. It's the Bill dam. It is the atomic energy. The reason why we have Dumso today is because the dam is not, the hydro dam is not enough to really sustain and be able to, in terms of the development so far. But looking at where we were going to, there was no way. So he had a vision. So we had the atomic energy. So it means that we would have had atomic energy, and it means that we would have been able to have nuclear. And that nuclear power would have given us enough energy, and they would have, you see how you go to the US and other place and you never get any lights out. It's not because of their dam, it's because of the nuclear power they have. And
Nkrumah, as of that time, had all of that put in place.
We did. It was here. The Raxes were here and were taken out after the coup.
But where did we go wrong as Ghanaians? What happened? What changed? Even though Nkrumah was out, there still were people that worked with him that could have carried on the generation.
What happened was, Nkrumah being out had very little to do with the Ghanaian. Even though the Ghanaian was used as a stooge to be able to make it happen. It's just as what is happening today. Our problems are a little bigger than us. Not that we can't solve it, but the hands, the invisible hands, like the colonial, I don't like to use the word masters.
The colonial people. Let's use the word people.
Yes. Who are interested in you and I, our minerals, what we do, and therefore influence the decisions of our leaders in this country are much more stronger than what you can imagine. So the people that overthrew Osagyefo were not just necessarily the Ghanaians, even though they were used and influenced and given money to do that. Those that did it were cleared, and it's there. It's been disclassified. Where the CIA and other the colonial people who knew that the direction that Osagyefo was taking Ghana, if we continue that path, not only would we be a first-class state, but we would influence the African, and Africa would work. So for that reason, everything had to be done. When Osagyefo was overthrown, he was not just overthrown. Everything, anything that had CPP, the red cockerel, was burnt. Everybody was jailed. My father was jailed for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And he was jailed right from his room to the usher fort. And that included everyone. They were banned. The name CPP was banned. Everything, every book, everything about him were burnt. You understand?
So even the people that he was working with that could have carried it on still were, they were jailed. So the whole
not
thing
only were they jailed, they made the rule, they made a law, they passed a law that says that they can't even work for anybody for 10 years. You understand? When you've been a politician all your life, today they talk about ex-Russia. when you are out of office, you are giving ex gratia, you are giving homes and things. Then now you are thrown out of office, put into jail, you come back, you cannot mention any name of the party, any grouping, you'll be arrested, everything. You've been, the man that you idolized is being vilified in every corner. You understand? Everything you've done has been abandoned and truncated, including factories, including everything. The only ones that have continued are the ones that people have now bought for themselves or cannot do anything about, like the schools, the Bank of Ghana, the motorways that they can't really pick up or anything. So if you ask me, why are we where we are? We are where we are because we don't have the right belief system. We don't believe that we are capable. We don't believe that we ourselves can solve our problems. So because of that, we are always looking for the solution from the white person. And that is exactly what he didn't do. And the very people who said we should wait for the independence gradually are the people in power today. And so it is not surprising for me that we can't seem to find a solution, that we think everything is an investor from outside. And so we change that thinking that nobody is going to come from outside to come and solve Ghanaians' problem. We will continue to go to IMF, we'll continue to borrow money, we'll do everything we have to do, and we will not touch the core. Listen, even when he did everything, we still had the ideological center. We still have the young pioneers in the schools. The idea was to conscientize the Ghanaian to believe in himself, to change our thinking. The African personality is about the African believing in themselves. You don't get that just by sitting out there and watching films that shows the white color and the white hair and everything as the best. You get there by telling your young people that they are also good enough. You get there by trying to make sure that you plant and you eat what you grow and you use what you've planted and you've grown in Ghana to produce. It is just basic arithmetic. If you do not produce what you eat in this country, if you do not process what you have grown, so that when there's lean season, you can have more, and also, most importantly, find a way of exporting to other people what you have. If you don't do that, there's no way you're going to do anything. And guess what? When I remember that for years, and I would say decades, because 10, 20, 30 years, even after Osagyefo was overthrown, the crane, that's the equipment that was lifting one of the blocks that was supposed to be doing the silos in Tema, for the longest time was still hanging there with that last block that it was lifting. Okay, so what happened to the silos? So what was the idea of the silo? The idea of the silos was that cocoa should not be exported in its raw form. Once cocoa was exported in its raw form, when they wanted to get some, what did they do? They reduced the price of cocoa. Because without buying, we don't consume the cocoa here, we don't produce the cocoa here. The cocoa was the main raw material of export that we were getting at that point. And so what happened? So if you say you want to be on your own, we will reduce the price because we determine the price of the cocoa. So until today, as we sit here, that is why he was doing the silos, so that we began the cocoa processing factories here. So I would have continued with other things. I'm sure I can bet my last dollar that Ghana would have been the hub and the #1 place where we would have had the chocolate, the cocoa chocolate exported in all parts of the world.
Right.
But we don't have that.
Now, with all you're saying, is very juicy. And although Nkrumah is not there, we know he lives on, and especially he lives on in the CPP. What is CPP going to do to bring back the whole Nkrumah thing? Can we build the CPP to that level? Because currently, when we talk about the political parties who are strong, we don't really mention the CPP as the first two political parties. We mentioned the NDC, we mentioned the NPP. When is CPP going to get so strong to be able to contest the NDC and NPP?
That for me, if I get any, it's part of the sad thing for me today. That today we are living here, when we live here, we are going to the mausoleum where our father was laid. And yet, as we go there, under the renovation of today, we are still going, now it's been expanded to include who we claim are the founders of this country.
That's a big thing.
I believe that everybody has a place in history. All of us here have a place in history. The next 20, 30, 50 years would all have a place. Prime Morning has a place in history. But everybody has their place in history. You do not change and try and put me, you can't squeeze me into your place. And that's exactly what the current government is trying to do. They are trying to squeeze all these other people into the place of Osajifo. And that is sad. They did Dankwa, Buzia, everybody had their place and they did what they had to do. Find one thing and focus on that and package it and give it to the next generation. Don't try and vilify somebody before you try and make your person great. And that's exactly why are they trying to bring everyone now into the mausoleum? That is where Osajifo was buried, and that is it needs to be renovated and be done nice like the way we've done at Samuel's place. But we don't need to bring everybody there and try and say now Nkrumah has to come. We have to bring these people. Why do you have to do that? Why don't you create a new place for them? For tourism purposes, it is even better for a tourist to come into a country and visit several other places than to come into one small location and say everything else is here.
You think they are trying to kill the legacy of Kwame Nkrumah?
Absolutely. I mean, you know that today is supposed to be the Founders Day. They changed the Founders Day, brought apostrophe after the S, and then changed the date. Why did they even leave it today? If the essence was to say that more people funded Ghana, so let's add all these people. Why did you have to change the day? Why did you change the day from 21st to the 8th? Is it 5th? I've forgotten the name. 4th August, huh? The 4th August for the day that UGCC was formed. Clearly, look at some of the stories that are in the books. So when you ask me that question, it is deliberate.
To undermine the CPP?
Absolutely deliberate. You see how everybody is talking about Nkrumah. I was just listening to a program. They enumerated all the things Nkrumah did, from the motorway, from City Hotel that is now Golden Tulip, from Ambassador Hotel
it's
that
now
is
Lancaster.
Now everything from the universities to the schools, secondary schools.
Golden Tulip is now Lancaster Hotel.
Oh
yes.
Golden Tulip.
Yes, it's Lancaster.
Oh, hotel. Okay, now
yeah.
Well, whatever. So my point is that all these hotels that we talk about today, and all the schools and everything that was done, we say it is Nkrumah. That's our father, and I'm glad. But the truth of the matter is that it was a deliberate attempt by these very foreigners to ensure, and it's being carried by their stooges here, so that what happens is that CPP is wiped off. No individual. Osajifo did not do these things as an individual. They did not come from him as a Osajifo who then was a philanthropist that decided to build all these universities. It was done as a government. There was a cabinet government, he had DCEs, he had appointees, they go to meetings. Who did that? Somebody built a motorway. Are you getting my point? And if those ministers were as corrupt and did not do the work, yes, we had the best leader. So it's been a very conscious effort. When PNDC decided to be in the Fourth Republic, to go back to constitutional rule, they sat down and orchestrated, and I have the facts, to come in and merge with CPP, because we are the only party that had the structures.
And what happened?
And we merged. So yep, our father Rollins, may he rest in peace, and our father Akar, who's also dead, merged, and CPP's flag bearer became the running mate of the NDC. So in the process, all the CPP people who were there and then at that time joined and voted for NDC. And what happened? They took over all our polling station executives and all our strongholds. So even though at a point we were almost 90% in parliament, they now went to NDC. So in the process where they did whatever they did to our father Akar and he left the party, it went, everybody else stayed. The DCE will stay, the executives will stay, nobody will leave.
So you lost them to the NDC?
Everything. So for CPP to come back today, we need the good news for Ghana, and I think that's the best thing for Osajifo here. is the fact that today the youth of this country and the people of this country are what they call exhausted. They have all themselves have run out of exhaustion through mismanagement, corruption, and lack of vision. Complete lack of vision and commitment.
Is the CPP's campaign enough to get people to love them back and come on board?
We are asking the people like yourself and everyone listening to me today that CPP does not belong to me or anyone. CPP is the vehicle that was used to bring independence into this country. CPP is the vehicle that was used to bring all the economic empowerment that came to this country. And that, for that reason, the CPP has opened its doors again. We have opened our doors so that you sitting everywhere, in your bedroom, in wherever you are, all you need, use technology, take your phone, dial *920*277# again. *920*277#, and you become a CPP member. We have 800,000 executive positions open for you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, from the polling station, electoral area, we have opened the doors. We are asking everybody to come take over. And this is the very first time in our history in the Fourth Republic that we are doing that as a party. Because we came up with a commitment when we saw the problem. The problem is not the good brains. We had the Abu Sakaras. That was clearly the best of the best if it was just about who was going to be a good president.
Who do you have now?
Today? I want the youth to take over. We have you, the youth, now.
Right.
CPP doesn't have anybody, but we have everybody. That is the good news about CPP. CPP is Ghana and Ghana is CPP. Until the day that we decide that we will take over our own destiny into our hands. And we are asking that you don't come and vote for me. Don't come and be part of me. Come and let's together take over and be able to take over governance. Because no matter what you say and do, that is the reality and the sad part. You can do all the demonstrations, you can have all the movements, you can make all the rhetorics and statements, and so you become a political party, a political power to take over governance. You won't be able to effect the changes. You won't be able to effect the minds of young people. You won't be able to stop the corruption. You won't be able to make sure there's job and employment and have the right policies. The CPP policy, which is not an import-led economy. Our policies today in Ghana is an import-led economy. It's an economy that is based on what you bring in, which is the economy of the colonial master, the neo-colonial people. Because for them, they produce all these factories, and when they come and they capture you, then they bring you their food, their language, like we are speaking, and their clothes and everything, so that they can have jobs for their people in their country.
Right.
But we don't have that. We, in Ghana, the CPP, ours is a state-led economy that believes in export.
Now, let me ask you this. There are so many young people out there, like you said, they are peeved about what is going on in Ghana. It's very easy to woo them. But what is the strategy that you're going to use to woo them? Because you telling them, just pick up your phone and dial, is not enough. What are you telling them, or what is the strategy that CPP is going to use to woo these young ones on board and incorporate the Nkrumah ideology in them for us to have a better Ghana?
Wonderful. For me, I'm not one of those people that like to speak in the air. I like to bring things to basics. You must take the first step. I want you to take the step of becoming, at least show the interest. It says there's no spirit as strong as the heart of a volunteer. There's no power. So I want people to volunteer themselves, that there's something in them that God has created. That indeed, today as they celebrate Osagifo, that Osagifo spirit that is in him is now transferred to every young person looking at me, because we all want a better country. That's all he wanted, a better country, a better nation, and a better people. And so the vision that he has will come into us if we decide that we also want the best for ourselves, for our children, our grandchildren, and all that. So if we will take that first step, what would woo the people is that the position opening is the position that makes you a minister in CPP government.
Okay.
It's the position open, that's the position that makes you the DC in CPP government. Please, are you understanding?
Right.
If you do not take that step, it means that you are outside and it's still going to be you sitting there complaining. So what happens to all the energy, the ideas, and everything that God has given you that you know that you can contribute to make Ghana work? CPP party, the first party, is the only party that is strong enough today that has that open. MPP is finished. They've closed their doors. They've even finished their national elections. NDC is in the process. But you can still
register as a member.
We are not asking people to register as a member.
You are asking for executive positions.
We are asking people to come and take 800,000 executive positions opened. Because we are now going to do the elections. And we'll do it's basically from the polling stations.
Is that criteria you look at?
Pardon?
Is that a criteria you look at? Because it's not just anybody who can be an MP. It's not just anybody who can be a minister.
You are right. The criteria we are looking at is who is a Ghanaian with a thumb. When we started, do you know the name of CPP's party? The Veranda Boys. Do you know why? When Osajifo left UGCC, because he believed in independence now, and he realized that where he was standing, these people were not going to give no independence because they saw the Queen and the colonial masters. Yes, even though they wanted independence, the route that they were taking is the same route for which reason today we don't have United Africa. It's the same route for which reason today even ECOWAS is not even together. Because we think we should be done gradually. We think we should sit down at a table and discuss with the very people who have you there. You can't discuss with any master to give you your freedom. You must go for that freedom. You understand? It is the youth of the country who put that energy. It is that energy that made the Queen, the people live. It is the energy of the youth and the commitment of Osajifo and his integrity that made the Queen come here to dance with him. As the first African whoever did that, you understand? Because he had confidence and he knew the direction he was going.
Let me take you to 2020 elections. You didn't place third. The CPP has been silenced from you for a very long time. And even the year 2020, there were younger parties that even came on top of CPP. What is CPP doing wrong?
The younger party, the only younger party that came on top, all of us have to be honest, what did the person say? He says it's the Osajifo incarnated. And what did he do? He used CPP's projects and changed them to Osajifo projects. I saw it. Osajifo Nkrumah projects. What is Nkrumah's project?
This is yours. Why allow somebody to own it?
That's exactly my point. The point is that he had a TV station and he managed to do that. That is why you need a leader in this world. It is not, we are all great people. All of us have been created in God's image. Every Ghanaian can get to the highest in the world. It is for you yourself to believe that and take action in that direction. The leadership of CPP today, of which I am the chair and leader, came with a commitment and a vision of Osajifo. I believe in you. I believe in him. I believe in the one and the person looking at me. I believe that the Osajifo's rhetorics were not just statements. Indeed, I believe that we can turn the gap and be on top. Because you see, we were supposed to be Gold Coast. Aren't we Gold Coast? When you talk about wealth and even money, it's paper. What backs that wealth is gold. Yet, look at where we are. Even we have sat down for Galamsey to be able to get to the point where we are using Galamsey, and even our cocoa now is being challenged as what do you call it? All these chemicals. And so very soon, we might not even be able to sell the cocoa. And the worst part is even the water bodies that we are destroying. So if you ask me, yes, the previous leaders were doing their best, but we have come with a different, everybody has what God has given. Like the way I'm seeing my palm, I've seen the problem. The problem is not going to elections because you can't speak. It is because you must connect to the people and make sure that you have the people themselves owning the party. And that is why, as we started, you've seen us everywhere. We've gone to Kambaga. When they destroy the people's properties, we are there. We were on Atinka. We were on Metro doing time with CPP for a year, even after the elections, until CPP had its own internal issues and we halted it. Otherwise, would have been gone far. Today, where we are sitting, we've known the most important thing in the world is to know your problem.
Do you have a flag bearer now?
We will get a flag bearer.
If the youth should apply, can you pick a flag bearer amongst one of them?
If who?
The youth that you are calling on them. Are they the ones you're going to look for a flag bearer from? Or you already have people who are going to...
No, absolutely no. We haven't done the elections yet. We will do, you know, a lot of young people sitting there are CPP people who just don't go to meetings. They are sitting on the fence. They have not bothered to worry or anything. Depending on all the people that have left and the people who are still there, we are asking them to come on board. We haven't done our elections yet. We haven't done our elections for anything. We have our rules that says that you must be in the party for 2 years to do ABCD. But we know clearly today that we don't have the people at the grassroots. And we've gone to court, and the court has mandated us, based on our constitution, to go ahead and organize the polling stations this time. And so it will be organized. Okay. So what we are telling the youth of today, for every youth, even farmers, when we come, if you look at our manifesto, we have clearly stated that no farmer would farm and sell his produce. What will you do? It is not the responsibility of a farmer to farm for you okra, tomatoes, and all that, and still have to worry about how he sells the tomatoes when he doesn't even have, he has not, maybe not gone to school yet, he doesn't have transportation, he has no idea of the roads. We will do exactly what we did before. What was that? First of all, the cocoa. Because we said we bought cocoa and we had the cocoa CMB, what happened? At the end of the day, cocoa was purchased, and all the farmer had to do was make sure that he produced his cocoa. So that was his energy. Somebody was there to buy the cocoa. The same thing we did with food distribution company. We had a food distribution system. The same thing that we did the factories. Wherever the farmers were and we knew that they had a batch, we did the Cardiff Manchester factory. We did the tomato. That's what we will do. We would make sure that with technology, the moment you farm, a young person will be there. Know that you have done 2 acres of tomatoes. We will buy the tomatoes because you and somebody else will be empowered to take that tomato and make a factory. For now, that is immediately the first year. What I really want to do is to have you come back again to tell us more about the CPP, because today we want to celebrate Nkrumah. But you know something, that's my point. No matter how you celebrate Nkrumah, if you ignore the party, the vehicle with which will take you to where Nkrumah intended to be, clearly, everybody who has come has taken take base of what Nkrumah stood for. The National Health Insurance, the free SHS, and little things. But it's not working. You know why? Because the 7-year plan, exactly what the vision, the entire thing is not being done. We are the party that will come in here that believe that Ghana itself must be rich. The state itself must be rich to help its citizens. The state should not be poor. The citizens should not empower themselves at the expense of the majority. You understand? So the reason why I take today, I salute Nkrumah, but I want to talk about CPP because without CPP, even Kotoka International Airport, where the very person that really did the coup to make sure that he died is still being named after him. If we should have a new party, you know, just like 2020 when we had a new party, you said he came with the Nkrumah ideology, told everybody about what Nkrumah had done and what he would do. Now, if we should have a party like that emerge in 2024, and that party should win and do exactly what Nkrumah started, will you then dissolve the CPP? Because you'll be doing what you should have done. It won't happen this time. It won't happen. And we were not leaders. I'm telling you, it won't happen. What happened with somebody will come in and say, take our projects and claim that is their project? It won't happen. Listen. Will you take those people to court? If anybody should try it? They won't. You know why? When the youth have come to take over the party, which they will, I mean, by the end of October this year, we would have finished with this election. Because we are doing the basic elections online. Okay. You don't even have to put your poster anywhere. We're doing the polling station elections, almost 700,000 will be done online. Because that's the technology we are using. We believe in Osagyefo's ideals. We believe in the ideology of Osagyefo, which is for us to say that it's a human-centered ideology. The welfare of the Ghanaian should be at the center of every policy. the welfare, not the welfare of my children alone, but my children, your children, and everybody else at the expense should be at the center, so that you think of accommodation, for the laborer, for the young person here. That, as you see in other parts of the world, they don't have to go and pay 2-3 years before they get some place to stay. They don't have to live with their parents till they are 40 years. You must make affordable accommodation. But what we see today, the affordable accommodation cannot even be afforded by the middle class, because you still have to pay against dollar. You understand? But the ones that we did, out of the 6,000, let me give you some number. Out of the 6,700 properties that we built under CPP, the 200 was given to middle income, 1,500 to lower income. That means the everyday person who just maybe started working. Then 5,000 to laborers. That was the category. When a nation decides to build and considers laborer, then he's thinking of how, and that is what, those are the properties you see in Tema and all these other places that are now high-end properties. They were for laborers. They were for laborers. Wow. So this is what I'm saying. The question that you asked me, there are things that if, today we have CPP, let's focus on Osajifo. Osajifo is the one who brought the party. I didn't come up with CPP. It's Osajifo's party. It is this party that gave that energy to Osajifo to go for the independence, and they achieved it. It is the energy of the youth that was able to help Osajifo, and I'm asking the women. So we are appealing to the same people that the country where it is going. Even your father is being vilified. Even today, that is supposed to be his founders' day. We had to be given outside. He is supposed to be the African man of the millennium. Now we are sitting here. We have taken the day out. We turn it into what we call it a holiday. And yet we are even taking his mausoleum where he's been buried. We are trying to bring everybody else there. What kind of world is this? So all I'm asking everyone is that if you do not honor the good people, I'm a Catholic. When you go to Catholic Church, all the people you see that called saints are people that is believed that they did something good on planet Earth, and therefore their spirit should be captured to the next generation. If we as Ghanaians ignore Osajifo and CPP, we'll be turning around and we'll never catch our tail.
Right. Thank you so much for being here today. We are very grateful. Definitely we'll invite you again because we know you're calling on the youth for a better Ghana. So we'll definitely invite you again to have an extensive conversation with regards to the CPP. Thank you so much. So today is actually we are celebrating our father, the very first president of the Republic of Ghana. That is Dr. Osaj for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Let me put it like that. And it's his birthday as well. So he's what, 113 years. We celebrate him, of course. For us to be where we are today, it took one man who had to do this for us. So if he was alive, he would have been 113 years today. But wherever he is, I know his spirit is smiling. If it's not smiling, I don't know. But we hope so. I've been speaking to the chairperson and the leader of the CPP, and she's in the person of Nana Akosua Frempomaa. She's calling on every youth out there to join the CPP. There are a lot of executive positions for you. So if you are looking into getting into leadership, this is the opportunity for you. Don't miss it. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we do have more for you. Stay.